Ready? 3, 2, 5, 7, 9. I can't count.
Queso.
Queso? Queso. Okay.
Oh shit! I got these burritos in the microwave. I can eat them while I'm talking. I was hoping I wouldn't go on video. Anyways, let me go get them real quick. I'll be right back.
That's rude. Because I already started recording.
That's okay. Just leave that in there. It's okay. Keep going. Just start with the other two. I'll be right back.
No, I'm starting with this. Are you kidding me? That is awesome.
All right. That's good. Okay, go get them real quick. Hold on. Just start real quick.
I swear to God, Ronnie,
it'll be 2 seconds.
If I start hearing farts on the stream, man.
You won't, man. It'll be 2 seconds. Hang on. Just keep going. Go. Just go.
Oh boy. All right. Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to our very not first ever podcast, because we've done it live streams because we're stupid like that. But we're changing up the lineup just because live streams. Ronnie, that is so rude with your burritos, man. I can hear all of that.
I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to be quiet.
Then change it to push to talk.
Okay.
So we're changing up the lineup because it's hard to get everybody to be able to live stream when people are across the world. So today's... Are you okay there, Ronnie? You're like pushing to talk while you're eating now.
I'm not. I swear to God.
So
professionalism.
So today's lineup, or your host for today, is myself, Goshen. We have Omnitos, who's been a host for GamerKast now since the beginning. We have Zelos. Well, Omni, can you stop coughing, dude? I'm trying to introduce everybody. Jesus, you're just as rude as Ronnie's rappers.
I'm sorry, I'm dying, all right?
So we have Zelos as well. Zelos has been a huge help to the channel with me being able to review games now. We've done a few of them. We're going to be doing a lot more coming up this year. And we also have Ronnie, News to Astonish, who's been in a couple GamerKasts as well. He's my cousin. Very rude.
Yo, what's
with some burritos. I just introduced you. Can you chill?
My bad.
You're lucky you're family, Ronnie.
I love you.
Yeah, I know you do. I love you too. Anyways, these are the guys that we're doing the podcast with. And thank you guys so much for joining, taking time out of your day. And I'm going to take more of your time out of every week at least. And I think we're going to be doing these podcasts every Sunday if you guys are okay to get together.
Dude, let me just say this. I am looking forward to this, man. I really want to be a part of your game.
You got cut out, and it sounded like you said you want to be part of my gay.
That's what I
want to
heard.
be part of your. Yes, I want to be part of your gay, but I want to be part of your GamerKast more often.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Anyways, so today's topics, we're going to be talking about games that influenced us throughout this year. Basically, games of our year. And the reason that we're doing this is because we had the Game of the Year awards come out. And there's a lot of stuff that I personally don't agree with. And I think that a lot of you guys probably feel the same way as well. So with that being said, before we get into that, I want to go around the table and ask you guys, what are you currently playing on your channels or in your life when it comes to video games? Let's start with Omni, since he's the first one on my list here anyways.
Oh, I was gonna say, because on my list, I'm last. But games I'm playing, Destiny 2 has been my thing again. I found my way back to the love of my life, which is Destiny.
Not your fiance.
My fiance. My fiance is my true love of my life. Destiny Destiny is like that one I go to and hide away from my problems.
I think you're pretty safe here. I don't know if Courtney heard you though.
The bedroom's close to my studio, so she probably did. But she knows I love her. But
your wife or your fiance?
Yeah, with Destiny 2.
Who's that?
But no, I've been playing that again. Just going through, getting back into being the collector that I was and trying to get everything.
Did you? I know you were playing Borderlands 3. Did you just drop Borderlands 3 for Destiny 2 when the update came out?
No, I beat Borderlands 3.
God damn, you did?
Yes.
Oh shit, I didn't know.
Well, I beat the story. I haven't done anything afterwards.
Was the story that short?
I mean, heck, it took about a solid 3 weeks to beat the game. But then again, I was only I was only playing it on live stream, so.
Yeah, but how many hours is that though?
If I'm doing the math, it was about 40 hours.
Oh, really? I thought it was longer than that.
Me and my friend got to a point where we were so overpowered that at the end of the game, we didn't have to do any side missions.
Oh, that kind of disappoints me because like I bought it on Black Friday, so I was like, okay, now I'm
Well,
actually
the
gonna play it.
reason why is because we did all the side missions up to that point,
Okay.
and so we got overpowered when the end of the game finally came around.
Kind of like me in Outer Worlds. All right, Zelos, talk to me. What games are you playing or have been playing besides Metal Gear Solid 5 that we've been seeing for like the past few days on Discord?
I just finished Fate Excelia, which is
Ooh, how was that?
Oh my god, I loved it. I think that it's old at this point because it is kind of a remake of the PSP port. But it is great. I already had it on PS3 collection edition. I bought it again on PC and was playing through that.
I have the collector's edition for Vita.
Oh, nice. I've got the old PSP game too. That was the precursor to.
Didn't they make a sequel? Wasn't the sequel Umbral Star or something like that?
Umbral Star is the first one. You're thinking Excelia
sequel
Link.
To that one.
Yeah, Excelia Link is the sequel.
Excelia Link, and that's the one I'm waiting for. Get a good bargain on, and I'll sit down and play that one.
Steam Winter Sale coming up. Be ready for it. It's gonna drop.
Yeah, it was on sale on Black Friday, and that's when I picked up the first game again on PC, and I'll pick up this one again. Hopefully, it's lower than $30.
Yeah. Well, but besides that, what else have you been playing? Because I mean, Fate's big with like I would say more towards the anime community of things, but it's not like it's a very niche series, you know?
Yeah.
So what other games might have you been playing that people might know?
I've been playing SD Gundam G Generations Cross Race, which is a strategy Gundam game that just came out on PC. Really enjoying that one as well. That one is very reminiscent of the old turnstile RPGs, and it's very long. Lots and lots of content.
So when you say strategy, is it like tactics style?
Yes, exactly.
That's up my alley.
Yeah, you'll have grid pattern, and then you have obviously your energy for your abilities. You can upgrade the mobile suits all the way up, and then like upgrade them and turn them into another unit, and keep going round and round until you get to the one you want. You get them at the level 99. There's lots of stuff to do in it, and it's a big time sink, but I really enjoy it.
Nice. All right, Ronnie, your turn. What games have you been playing or are playing or whatever this year so far?
This year, currently, I am. I just finished Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch.
I love that game.
It's a beautiful game. It's amazing. I did play Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm a fan of. I've always been a fan of the classic RPG games, and up until this point. And recently, I never really would have thought that I've gotten into like mobile gaming, but I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty Mobile.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
I mean, listen. I mean, it's gotten good reviews. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
I played
about 5 to 10 minutes of it, and
it's addicting. It's really addicting.
It was interesting. The controls need a little bit of work. The touchscreen.
Oh yeah, they do.
Well,
of course.
You know that they actually have controllers now that can connect directly.
It's not compatible yet.
Yes, it is.
It's not compatible yet.
Yes, it is. Okay, so not sponsored, even though they send me stuff to review. Power A has a controller that you can. It was specifically made for Call of Duty. You can connect it to your phone, and it has like a little attachment clip that you put your phone on top of it, and basically you play it using that controller. It's actually really freaking cool, and I'd like to see more mobile games being able to utilize controllers like that.
Well, speaking of which, I've been playing a lot to the point where like I'm thinking about even live streaming some matches.
It's a popular game, dude.
It's really good. It's actually there's also a voice actor on there that does the voice for like the missions and like the matches. He's one of my favorite voice actors of all time. When I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, that's Steve Bloom. He does a lot of the voiceover for like Call of Duty games. So I was surprised to hear that. And yeah, it's a fun time, man. I love playing against my friends and playing online. And I've also been playing Sekiro. I have never finished the game. but I decided just to follow up and finish it right after the Game Awards, and I'm still playing it right now.
All
So
right.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
All right. Well, we'll get into that in a bit. All right. Well, as for me, I recently, as of today, just picked up Hollow Knight. I never played it before.
Beautiful game, man. I can't believe you never played it.
Well, I mean, look, it was on Xbox. I don't have an Xbox. I didn't pick it up on the Switch because it was too
It's
expensive.
awesome on the Switch. It's awesome to play on the Switch.
Well, so it's on Xbox Game Pass. So I picked it up today, and I started playing it. I've been playing it for like 4 or 5 hours so far, and I love it. I mean, I like those style games, the Metroidvania games, anyways. So
yeah, Metroidvania stuff are awesome.
yeah, so it's been a lot of fun for me. And then another game I started playing recently because so my subscribers, I put up a poll asking what game they wanted me to play since I finished playing Outer Worlds, and they wanted me to start playing Code Vein. So I started playing that, and I've been playing it for like 10 hours. It's actually a lot more fun than I thought it was. Because I played the demo, and I thought the demo was fun, but not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I gotta buy this game for $60. So I was like, yeah, I'm not buying it for $60, and then it went on sale for Black Friday, so I picked it up. So Code Vein I've been all right with. I actually, Bandai did a decent job with that one. All right, so first topic that we're gonna get into before we get into games of our year, the new Xbox.
I'm actually pretty excited to talk about that.
So I mean, we all know that the next gen is going to be game changing. It's going to be massively impressive as far as home consoles go, but we also know that they're pretty much computers at that point. There's nothing wrong with that because then it improves the quality of video games. I mean, they're both consoles are going to have ray tracing technology. Both consoles are going to be like they're both going to be on Ryzen Gen 2 architecture, which is fantastic. I mean, in my opinion, anyways. I mean, you say what you want. You could be an Intel person.
I mean, I've got a
It's gonna
Ryzen 7
be
in
awesome.
my desktop, so
Right.
Yeah, same here.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, we as content creators, we know the power of Ryzen AMD. I mean, that's what we've been using because that's what it's made for. It's made for multi-thread purposes and being able to just use for multi-threaded applications. Intel or AMD, I'm sorry, AMD has always been used for consoles, because of their APUs, being able to integrate their GPUs within their CPUs instead of running a CPU and then a GPU, like most computers would. So it's no surprise that they would stick with AMD and not go with Intel. But man, I'm super pumped for this.
Another big deal, real quick. Both consoles will be utilizing moving forward SSDs. Now that is a big.
Yeah, I mean, well, the SSD, I think honestly, they say it's SSD, but we won't know until we actually have the consoles to take apart. But
Well, it's gotta be that moving forward. I mean,
well,
we're in 20.
I
we're in
honestly, with the way that they're promoting it, I think it's more of an NVMe SSD and not just your regular SSD. Because why
It
would
is actually.
Yeah.
They confirmed it. I just finished doing a video on it, and it's going to be uploaded tomorrow. But it's NVMe.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, why are you gonna get so excited about a regular SSD?
Exactly, because the NVMe's are more powerful than regular SSD.
Right. So if that's the case, the only thing that I hope, and here's the other thing too with like PS4 or with PS5 is that they're saying that there's gonna be like these new cartridges that we can buy and install into the PS5s to increase the memory of the PS5s.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
No, I mean, well, I heard something along the lines of that with a channel that I do follow, but I wasn't entirely sure if.
Yeah, so it's like extra hard drives that you can buy and just, I guess, plug into your PS4s to be able to install your games and your save datas on. I mean, to me, that's actually not a bad idea, but as long as the
Really?
prices aren't that bad, I mean,
It'll probably be like Sony's custom-made ones, right?
I'd see that's the thing I don't know. And even if it is, I'm hoping that there's a way to install a secondary hard drive into the
Yeah, like
PS5s.
third-party ones.
Yeah, because I'm sure they will be since we can currently do that with current gens.
Yeah, these consoles are practically PCs by then.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Xbox. First off, let's look at the design. Omni, we've all seen the design. What do you think of the design?
I love it.
It looks like a paper shredder.
It's like a mini fridge.
It looks like a paper shredder.
Mini fridge.
Cut up.
Dehumidifier.
All right, all right, all right. So
Remove the top and put in a trash bag. There you go. You got your Xbox.
Jesus.
Have you seen the memes on this thing?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
we
have.
have. Yeah, we have.
Like, have you seen the little Xbox symbol on a black fridge? in the
Yeah.
kitchen?
Yeah.
I love that. I loved it. Oh my god,
It made me so happy.
I was laughing. So
I haven't been an Xbox owner since the Xbox 360. So
Same here. My 360 was stolen. I had an Elite, a black one. I love that thing. I
Oh,
stole it from
that's
them.
okay. The 360 was a trash console, anyways.
It's not that bad of a problem.
It had a lot of problems.
I mean,
Yeah,
Red
well,
Ring
I
of Death.
did, I guess. Red Ring of Death was the most popular. But like let's talk about the form factor of the Xbox. I mean, I love the fact that it's reminiscent of a PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Zelos, the first time he saw the new Xbox was a few minutes ago. So, what do you think of the new Xbox, Zelos?
As I said before, it looks like it's a dehumidifier.
That is the best analogy.
I mean, that's essentially what the damn thing looks like. I mean, it's got that concave, porous top, obviously for venting, but it looks like it should be a humidifier or dehumidifier.
Okay, so the only problem I have with the design is the venting, because obviously these consoles, since they're basically PCs, they're going to need to vent a lot more heat than usual.
Yeah.
And the way that they designed this to have the vent on the top, that it can be obstructed so easily.
Really?
Yeah, look, it's only vented from one spot. If you look at your PS4s, it's vented out the back, but the design of the PS4, it's not that easy to obstruct the vents because the back kind of protrudes outwards and then you have the vents underneath it at an angle. So even if you have something blocking the back, it's still venting out because it has the space to vent it. Where the Xbox Sex, you can just put another box on top of it by accident and you're going to fry your system.
Xbox Sex. Oh yeah, that's right.
Not just that. I mean, when you look at it concept wise, unless they have a really strong fan sucking that air out, it's still not going to cool very well, even if it is optimal airflow.
I'm sure it will, to be honest. And that's the thing too. I don't know how loud that console is going to be because you look at it, you can think it's going to be loud.
Be very quiet. It's going to be very quiet.
Yeah,
it's one fan.
Very quiet if you're watching Netflix. But
right.
But like the minute that you put a demanding game in there, it's going to be loud. I mean, let's be honest. I can have my PC set to quiet, but if I'm playing a really demanding game that's like super demanding on my CPU, that fan ramps up.
At the moment you run any games on, like, let's say Steam or like Apex Legends or anything like that thing like starts blasting. I mean, even my PC will blast. Like the fans on my video card will start running.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's really going to be as quiet as they say it is. And I mean, we don't know how it is internally, so we don't know exactly how it dissipates the heat.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I feel like that's just like one mistake and it's a done system. And I have kids. They like to put stuff on top of things. So
just touch that big old black box.
Yeah, so if I have that thing standing upright and the vent is going out like upwards, all they got to do is just put a paper on top of it.
I'm just curious though. How about that little green luminescent light that's on top of that Xbox? That's part of it, or was that just exaggeration in the car?
No, I think that's actually part of it. I mean,
I guess we're going RGB is like the way to go now, huh?
Well, I mean, people are like, "Oh, we want RGB on this thing," but I mean, it's Xbox, so it's just gonna be green light.
I don't mind that either. I love that as
it's a homing beacon for
aliens. I love it. Yes. Well, for me, I would love it as like an indicator. Like, let's say you turn on the unit, it's white, and then like it's green throughout. And then, or you put a game in and it turns like, let's say, orange, and then if you do something, it blinks. I would love that as
I don't see it more than green just because it's Xbox, man.
Or like blinking more than once or twice for different things.
Well, you're never even going to see it if it's an entertainment console, which I also don't think is probably going to be a good thing
Yeah.
for this as well because of the
I
way
wonder if it'll do 4K Blu-ray.
Well, it is. It is. It's going to be native 4K. I mean, here's the thing with the
Well,
whole
they're Blu-ray
8K.
discs, I know, but like I'm talking about like movies.
Well, no, of course it's going to play movies 4K.
Okay, just wondering.
I mean,
got 8K output.
yeah. Well, the 8K is upscaling. I mean, that's what I was going to say.
That's-
Like, it's not native 8K because that would be absolutely ridiculous.
No, man. it'd be
PCs
too
don't.
expensive too.
Yeah, PCs barely can do native 8K. You got to have like
Yeah.
a beast of a PC to
It's
do.
probably gonna be like checkerboard simulated 8K.
Well, it's gonna be okay. So it's gonna be in the same aspect that PS4 Pro does it. So PS4 Pro is not native 4K; it's
Oh, yeah.
upscaled to 4K.
Right.
Xbox One X is native 4K, so it's obviously gonna stay native 4K and upscale to 8K. But I mean, look, let's be honest. How many of you actually own an 8K television?
Nope.
Nope.
Exactly.
I think 8K is still in its infancy right now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
right now. It's still expensive. 4K is already just becoming the standard right now, so it's too expensive at this time.
Right, and
maybe
even-
I'd say next. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, even that, like most gamers would agree that 4K isn't even the optimal way to play. That people would rather
Right.
play at 1440p and
Mhm.
have buku amounts of frames per second.
I don't think 8K would become the standard. Let's say for like at least another 6 to 7 years, maybe mid refresh next gen console.
I don't even think
Maybe.
mid refresh. I think it would be complete next gen.
Another complete next gen, then I guess, right?
Give it another 7 years, however long the generation would last.
We can probably speculate like at least another 3 or 4 years from now, as far as when we get there to the mid refresh.
Yeah, and even then, I don't want any more mid refreshes, man. Honestly, I don't.
Hey, how about that Stadia? Huh?
No.
No.
Hey,
So
4K 60. So many commercials on that.
And
I just want to
go ahead.
I just want to point out, I sold TVs for 4 years. You can't see 8K. I don't care what anyone says. You can't see
no.
8K.
No, you
can
can't.
barely see 4K.
It's hard to discern between 4K.
Yeah, I mean, pixel-wise, you'd have to have it on a giant screen before you saw any significant difference. So I don't even see the point of going to 8K unless something drastically changes in fidelity.
Yeah, and that's the same argument you can make for refresh rates too, because people are like, you can't see over 144 hertz. You have these monitors that have like 240 or whatever it is now. You can't even see that. Like, I don't care how good your eyes are. You can't freaking see that.
Yeah, you can.
Your eyes won't react to a refresh rate like that. Same thing with like 8K. Your eyes can't see it. And that was the argument I always made for 4K. Is like, I had no reason to buy a 4K television because my eyes can't tell the difference between 4K and 1440p. But they want to make the consoles 4K.
Do you own a 4K TV, Chris?
No, I don't.
Oh.
What for? I don't even have a PS4 Pro. I don't have an Xbox One X. So there's no reason for me to own a 4K television.
I mean, will you be getting one? Despite, albeit that
Yes, because while I argue that you can't really see 4K, you can still see an improvement from regular 1080p to 4K television. So because I only have 1080p televisions, if I upgrade to 4K, I will see the upgrade. But if I was to go from 1440p to 4K, I wouldn't really see the difference, especially considering if that 1440p television had a high refresh rate. Because right now, 4K televisions, their refresh rates are what? You guys are more into television tech than I am.
I have a 120.
Yeah,
4K.
so the most that I've seen is 120, but the average that you see is 60. So
Well, that's the most you're going to be getting out of the new consoles, anyways. 120 hertz, 120 FPS and 4K.
well, but
and I
that's
think
what they say, but that's not going to be for every game. That'll be
Of
for
course
like,
not. No, definitely no.
That'll be for like what, your Fortnite and your Apex Legends, but you get more graphical intensive games, and you're
Like the major exclusive games. Let's say like Hellblade 2. I'm pretty sure that'll be without a doubt 120 hertz.
See,
4K.
I don't even think so. I think that's gonna be a 60
4K
frames per
120.
second. Nope.
4K 60 frames per
That's
second,
yeah.
or 4K
That's
120.
the more intense you get graphic wise for a game, the less frame rate you're gonna get. That's a given. No matter what game it is, no matter how powerful your console is, the lower spec games will get you the higher frames per second. Will get you the closer to what your refresh rating is. Like games like Last of Us 2 that's coming out on the PS4 that they're gonna do an HD remake or like some sort of remake 4K or whatever.
They're gonna call it the 4K remakes now.
Yeah.
I really would have preferred The Last of Us 2 to be released on the next gen, because if you notice, like the first one came out towards the end of the PS3 generation,
and
then
then
it came out remastered immediately.
Right.
To, like, the PS4.
So they're gonna do that. That's what I'm saying. So they're gonna do a 4K remaster. So
Yeah.
So with
It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, a lot of it is just texture upscaling and stuff like that. It's not really like, it's not a ground up, for a 4K remake or anything like that. So with that being said, that Last of Us 2, when they put it on the PS5, is still going to be 60 frames per second, but it's going to be 4K native. So the reason is because it's going to be a more demanding game versus, I don't know, Gran Turismo, right? Gran Turismo, I could see at 120 FPS at 4K because it's not like,
it's just cars.
It's more of a game that's they preload the maps. It's not so intense on the CPU because the CPU is just going to be a CPU. It's not going to be a CPU and a GPU. So a lot of the rendering and stuff happens on your CPU when it comes to preloading maps and all that stuff. So games like that where the map's already loaded and you're not constantly loading stuff as you move along, like a game like God of War or Last of Us or Tomb Raider. So those games are more graphically intense. They're more CPU intense. So you're going to constantly get lower frame rates on games like that versus games that are just already preloaded map. That's why you have Fortnite and Apex Legends, all those type of games that they run so well because they are not demanding on the system. So I don't know. That's how I see it when it comes to like 4K and stuff like that and frames per second. I mean, they could throw all the FPS that they want around, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what games are going to get what? And the biggest thing for Xbox that I understand is, are they going to be getting first party exclusives with this? What's going to happen with the system?
They have over 14 studios right now under their belt, and they really followed on exclusives really this time in this generation, the new generation consoles. I mean, that was like their main focus too, because like they really lost it on the last opportunity with the Xbox One, and PlayStation actually, they beat them to the gun. They beat them for that with the exclusive. So.
Yeah. So Zelos, what do you think would make Xbox Series X stand out as opposed to PS5?
They're gonna have to offer something that Sony's not. As far as I've heard, I haven't heard anything about VR, which is kind of what Sony's dabbling in still with the 5. Capacity wise, they're probably gonna be very similar. It's gonna have to have a bunch of first party titles to compete with Sony's first party titles, because that's essentially what kind of made them lag this whole current generation, was they didn't have a good first party lineup. And I think that's going to be key going into the next gen for them.
So what kind of first party games would you as a consumer be looking at? Like, we know Xbox has Halo. We know it has Gears of War. Those are the two games or series that they've been pushing this generation. What would make it so it's like, oh, I need to buy the Xbox?
They need a series of different genres because they focus a lot on the first person shooters and action games, but there wasn't a lot of RPGs available. Definitely none that were first party that I know of. There's not a lot of indie games for that system that are sort of experimental and low cost. So, if you end up loving it, great. If you don't, you don't. That's something that I think Sony did okay in, but Nintendo did much better in this generation.
Do you think that the Xbox Game Cloud and Xbox Game Pass is enough to warrant purchasing the Xbox, the new one?
Only if it's got a library that's worth it. And that's where it came down to me why I didn't buy the current gen Xbox. They don't have anything that is exclusive to them that drives me to go buy that.
So you're saying they need to bring back Fable?
I made that mistake of buying the 360 for Fable 2, and I hated that game.
But Fable 3 was fantastic, though.
Agreed, but Fable 2 was terrible.
Hey, speaking of which, actually, since you mentioned Fable, Chris, the another enticing thing or another good reason to buy the new Xbox is because it's going to be backwards compatible with all generations of Xbox.
They're also saying that with the PS5. And honestly, if we're going to throw
dude.
that into the ring, if PS5 does that and is backwards compatible with every prior generation,
It's over.
Xbox loses.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Like, there's no competition.
110%, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because
This console might be bigger too.
PS2 alone is a major seller because we haven't been able to play our PS2 games on any generation except PS2, and unless you bought the early PS3s. But even
Which
then,
was expensive as heck.
but even then, it was limited to which PS2 games you could play. You couldn't play every single one. So
Definitely.
Well, yes, you could on the original first run of them because it has PS2 hardware.
you broke up.
The
there.
original PS2 could play PS1 games on.
No. But we're talking about the PS3.
On the fat 60 gig. That was
On
the
Fat
only one that
60
had the
gig,
hardware
original
in
could
it.
play PS2 games on it. Yeah, that was the only one that had it. They made them slim ever since, but they could.
So I'm gonna give you a fun fact. If you hacked your PS3, the Slim, you could play your PS2 games on it.
Really?
Yes. So
Yeah, it's got the emulator on it.
So the whole issue for me is like why haven't we been able to do it? Like they say it's hardware and stuff like that. Now, obviously that's not the case because my PS3 Slim is hacked. I can stick a PS2 disc in there. It reads it. It'll rip the data off and I can play it. So So obviously it reads the discs and it can play them to an extent, but I mean it's still there for it to be done. So it's like I don't know what happened with the PS4 why they couldn't do something like that, but whatever the case is, I mean it's fine. It's fine. If the PS5 does it where we can play all previous generations of PlayStation, it's done.
You really think so?
I think
so?
Look, the PS2 library is one of the biggest libraries in video gaming history. The
It's the biggest one, yeah.
the PS2 itself is the best-selling console in video game history. The console lived for 12 years.
I forgot how long it was.
When the
too.
PS3 was out, it was still selling PS2s. You know?
Oh yeah, and games were still being made.
And
too.
games were still being made for it. So with something like that, and then you have the PS3 because now it's like, okay, well I want to play my PS3 games. I gotta go and play it on my PS3. I can't play it on my PS4.
Did the PS2 come out in like 2000 or 2001 or 1999?
The PS2?
Yeah, it came out 2001 or 2000.
Anybody want to look that up really quick? I want to say 2000.
In Japan, probably 2000, but I think US got it in 2000.
March 4th, 2000.
Yeah, see, I was right because
I
we
thought
had
it was 1999.
No,
like late 99.
No, because we had Final Fantasy X as one of the first games for it, and that was 2000.
God
I think.
damn, man! I remember when the announcement of that, like when I heard that you could play DVDs, I was like, oh my god, my first DVD player.
Well, that was
exactly
that
yeah.
was the
That was
biggest
like the
seller
hit.
point because that was
That
the
was a hit.
cheapest. That was the cheapest DVD player you could buy.
Oh yeah, at the time, yeah.
So, damn, everybody had a PS2 just to play DVDs.
Yep.
I can tell you right now.
And pop in a game whenever.
Zealous?
Well, I was gonna say is I can tell you right now, if they come out tomorrow and say, "Hey, the PS5 is backwards compatible all the way through PS1," I will absolutely go pre-order one, full down right.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I'd
Like
agree with
like
that.
like
100%.
we're like in a shut up and take my money scenario kind of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, Goshen's has seen my collection.
Oh,
It's not as big as his, but I have a very large.
It's not as
game
big
collection.
as his.
That's what she said.
Oh, Omni, I'll remember that.
Oh goodness.
Ah,
Well, but see, and that's the thing. So Xbox saying that, oh, it's gonna be backwards compatible with the previous Xboxes. That's fine, but I mean, they don't really have the library to make it exciting
Like,
for that.
Yeah, there's like, what's that mean? Oh, you can play the older Halos. Well, I can do that now with the Master Chief Collection. It's
Right.
just like there's no.
Well, it's even more than that because you
So-
you have the Microsoft Store. You could essentially buy all the Xbox games and play them on your PC. You have Xbox Game Pass. You have a shit ton of games to play. That's included in that.
Quick question, real quick. So you're saying that if PlayStation, Sony announces that, like, the PS5 will be backward compatible with all generations of PlayStation since the one, and they would come up on top and surpass Xbox because of like their extensive library and
Oh, God, yes.
what other reasons?
That's all they
And well,
need.
that aside from that, but like, what about Microsoft Xbox? What makes it so different from Xbox? If they announce that all of their games are going to be backwards compatible too, like, why would Sony surpass them? or
Okay, let
triumph over
me
them?
put it to you this way.
Aside from the extensive
No,
library.
that's a valid question. Let me put it to you this way. When you think back to the original Xbox, besides Halo and Fable, what games do you remember?
Nothing else, because I only played Fable for the most part when I had Xbox.
Exactly. Looking back at the 360, besides Halo, Fable, Forza, and Gears of War, what do you remember from the 360?
Nothing really.
Exactly. Now, if you look at the original PS1, what do you remember? Final Fantasy
Crash Team
7,
Racing, Final Fantasy,
all the Crash games,
Resident Evil,
Evil,
Spyro,
Exactly. You look at
Ratchet and Clank. I think it was in PS2.
That was PS2. You look at PS2. What do you think? You think
Ratchet and Clank, another Resident Evil games, more Final Fantasy,
Kingdom Hearts,
the
the massive
Yeah.
library of RPGs that was on the PS2.
yeah, an incredible extensive library. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of memories. It's really all nostalgia. That's like the real thing.
But
these days.
that's the thing that would sell PS5 over Xbox
Itself,
is that
yeah,
nostalgia. That would appeal to all the collectors out there, like myself, like Zelos, who have massive libraries of PS1, PS2, PS3 games that we have to play on different systems. With the exception of PS1, you can play PS1 games on PS3. But besides,
Go ahead. Here's another question then. If the PS5, if it turns out that like all games, all generations of PlayStations are compatible, backwards compatible with the PS5, do you think that the PS5 will break records and break the PS2 records of sales of units? PS2 sold like over 152 million units during it,
not right away, and the reason is because of the price.
but eventually.
I think over its lifetime, yes, I think it could absolutely.
Over the lifetime,
especially,
yes.
especially if it does the backwards compatibility.
Right, because the thing you got to remember about the PS2 is the price got down to $100 at one point.
For the slim model.
But still, it's a PS2. It doesn't matter what model it is. It's still a PS2. You could buy it for a brand new one for $100. Now, we didn't get that with the PS3 because the hardware was too expensive. I think the cheapest we got was $200. And then the PS4, I think the cheapest one is what, $250?
The cheapest I've seen it right now, is about
This one was $299 actually, $299.
No, it went on sale for Black Friday for about $250.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but a regular
PS4
price.
Pro is on $399.
Yeah, regular price it was $299.
Okay, so regular price for a not Pro PS4 is $299. So that's the other thing is like the price. So over time, yes, it'll probably oversell a PS2 if it's backwards compatible with everything, but it would take a long time to do that. And the other thing to take in consideration is the way that the market is these days is vastly different than it was back then too, because you have the Nintendo Switch, which is selling like hotcakes.
It outsold the PS2 recently. Not the PS4 recently, excuse me.
Well, for this year.
No, not the PS4. Yeah, for this year. It outsold a console from the past. I can't remember
Xbox.
which one it was.
Yeah.
Xbox, yeah. It just outsold the Xbox One X, wasn't it?
Yeah, well that has a lot to do with the fact that Japan doesn't like Xbox.
Nope.
So they don't buy it. They actually, Japan's been getting more into the PC scene. So they have no reason to buy an Xbox. So all right. So I think that's pretty good on the Xbox. I mean, we've kind of shat all over that for a little bit. Look, there's nothing wrong, and anybody who's watching this, there's nothing wrong if you're gonna buy an Xbox. This coming generation, the consoles are too close in hardware to say that one's better than the other. Honestly, I believe that they're gonna be equal in power, and that's not going to be their selling points. They're going to have to look at other ways to sell their consoles at that point. Because the thing that sells consoles is always exclusives. It's not like PCs where you buy a PC because you can play whatever game. You know, you have to remember that consoles are sold because of exclusives. And I mean, you could argue that point all you want, but that's the dead end truth of it. The reason why people buy PS4s or bought PS4s was for Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us, all of those exclusives that came out in 2018 that just absolutely blew up the Game Awards that year, and the exclusives that are going to be coming out next year and stuff like that. That's what sold the PS4. Go ahead.
Well, by the way, I just want to mention when you asked earlier, Zelos or was it Omnitos, about what exclusives would really help push the console. I think it was something like that. I mean, Spider-Man, the sequel, is highly anticipated, and that would also help push PS5. The PS5.
Yeah, but I mean, I think honestly, PS5 or PlayStation is at a point that they don't need a game like Spider-Man to sell their consoles. You know, like they're just, the consoles are just selling so damn well, and they have a lot of exclusives besides just Spider-Man. Not saying anything bad against Spider-Man, because the game was it was freaking fantastic. It sold astronomically well, but you take in consideration just the massive amounts of exclusives that they just push out. I mean, hell, Persona alone, like Persona 5 is, in my opinion, the horror of the series, but
Yeah.
that alone is just selling PS5s, because you can't get Persona 5 on the Xbox. You can't get it on the Switch.
Say it's the whore of the series.
It's the horror of the
Yes.
series, because
Like, how many games are really solid based on?
I've
not-
actually considered buying the game myself.
Well, I mean, just not just the game itself, but like how many crossovers they're doing is just stupid. Like it's great marketing. Don't get me wrong.
It's in Smash Brothers too, man. Like,
But not only that, it's in mobile games, like different mobile games. You had a Persona 4 or you had a Persona crossover in Star Ocean Anamnesis, which was the Star Ocean mobile game. You currently have a Persona 5 crossover in Another Eden, which is a mobile game. Like, just, it's the horror of the series. I like Persona 5 a lot. I think it's a fantastic game, but I'm just kind of tired of Persona 5 at this point. Even with the two new Persona 5 games coming out, which is Persona 5 The Royal, that gets released in March, and then you have Persona 5 Strikers, or whatever the hell it's called. I don't even freaking remember, which is on the Switch. And that's like a Hyrule Warriors style game, you know. Yeah. And it looks like so much fun. I'm going to buy it because, you know, I love Persona, but at the end of the day, like Persona alone has been selling consoles to people because that game just got so much praise, and that introduced people to that style of gameplay that they've never experienced before, which is turn-based RPGs. You don't see a lot of them these days anymore.
No, agreed.
So that's what I'm getting at, is like, you know, PlayStation is just, they're at a good point in their gaming market because they kind of have it on lockdown when it comes to first-party exclusives, next to Nintendo, because Nintendo they have a fantastic library of games that they can push out too. I'm still waiting on Metroid Prime 4, but
Facts.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom 2. That's all I'm saying.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
No, Tatsunoko versus Capcom 2.
Oh, I was gonna say, you want a Switch port of Marvel vs. Capcom 2? I can get on board of that.
I mean, that would be great too. Don't get me wrong, but
but anyways, I digress. Let's go on to the main topic, which is games of our year, games that defined the year for us. And it's not necessarily games that are new games. They could be games that they're old, but we played for the first time this year, and it kind of made an impact on our year in gaming. let's start with Zelos because I'm pretty sure Omni and Ronnie need a little bit more time.
Oh no, I got my list. I'm good. You guys.
Well, we're still gonna
go
start
first.
with Zelos. We're gonna start with
Yeah,
Zelos.
Zelos can go first.
For me, Alliance Alive was pivotal for me for this year because I
Really?
haven't had an RPG like that in a long time. I really haven't, and it was so much.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that out of you. I know that you enjoyed it. Okay, so Alliance Alive, those of you guys who don't know, is from well, it's not initially from NIS America, but NIS America did the HD remake on the Switch, which was a damn good HD remake. I have the game as well. NIS America sent us the game early to be able to play. Zelos did the review on it, and he was talking to me throughout the entire time that he was playing it, how much he enjoyed the game. I didn't think you actually enjoyed it that much to say that it's one of your top 5 games that's influenced you this year.
Absolutely. I mean, I had such a blast. It's been a long time since I played a game with. They weren't like overly complex mechanics for the game, but they were complex enough that it gave variety to the game, and the story was great. There was lots to do in it, and I just really enjoyed just playing through it. You know, getting all the way to the end. It was one of those games that even after I did the review, I wanted to go back and do all the other stuff I didn't get a chance to do.
Oh, nice. I mean, that's freaking awesome to hear. Because I mean, I have the 3DS version and the Switch version. Obviously, the Switch version is the superior version of it.
Alana's Alive? I never really heard of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people haven't heard of it. It was a very niche kind of game, and when they announced that they were doing an HD remake of it on the Switch, I was excited for it for a number of reasons. One, because it kind of opens the door to allow for other Switch games to get that HD remake and get sent over to the Switch. Did I say Switch versions get HD remakes? Whatever. You understand what I'm saying. 3DS versions getting the HD remake on Switch. I really want to see more games like that because I would love to see, what is it? The original Bravely Default. Now that we got the announcement for the second game, I would love to see the original one get an HD remake on the Switch.
I'm really hoping they do.
Oh, I played the Bravely Default, and it was amazing for the Nintendo 3DS.
It was. So that's why I would love to see that happen.
It's my first like exposure to like a Final Fantasy like kind of game.
It's not your first exposure to that.
Yeah, it is. It was.
You didn't play Final Fantasy 7 or any of the other ones?
Never have ever played a Final Fantasy game in my life.
Boot him out of here, please.
I'm disappointed in myself for allowing that to happen.
So it's just that like I didn't appreciate those kinds of games back in the 90s.
No, it's true. Yeah, Ronnie's younger than myself, and so when me and his stepbrother Dominic were playing Final Fantasy, Ronnie would watch, but he was playing Spyro.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that's where we were sitting.
I was just a child, man. Like I was.
No,
only,
I
like,
know. You weren't
like,
age appropriate for the games yet.
Yeah, and I wouldn't understand it. Like it's to me at the time when I was a kid. I mean, I used to like watch my cousin play these games. I know of these games and their existence and like somewhat of a story, but like I always thought that like they were boring when I was a kid because like they just stood there. I never understood the concept of an
Yeah,
RPG.
you didn't have the attention span at the time to be able to get into.
I had the attention span of like a little bug or something.
All right,
That's a way to put it.
All right, Zelos, next game.
This one might be a little bit surprising, but Death End Request, when it got re-released for Steam. I didn't play it when it first came out on, I think it was PS3.
Did I send you that one too?
No. You were playing it. I saw it. I went out and bought it.
Who the hell did I send that game to? I had a copy.
Oh, no. I won the contest. That's what it was.
I did send you that game. Okay.
Yeah. This is I haven't played a dark adult theme RPG in a long time, and this was so good without being overly graphic or gory or anything like that. It was just a fantastic story. Really enjoyed the gameplay, and there was a lot of like bonus stuff you could do in the dungeons.
Right.
So I really had a lot of tactical strategy as well to it. It was just a ton of fun. I wasn't expecting a dark RPG from it, and thoroughly enjoyed that one. I played that one probably almost 100 hours.
I'm kind of the only thing I'm disappointed with that game is that I didn't have it on the Switch. I would have liked that game to be on the Switch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't get a Switch release yet.
Yeah, it didn't. All right, next game. You got 3 more games, Zelos.
All right, so this one is not going to be a surprise, but Disgaea 4 Complete Edition that came out on Switch. You gave me this one to review, and I fell in love with the game. Absolutely loved it. It rekindled me to go back and play 1 again, and then I picked up 2 and 5 on Steam, and I've got 3 for PS3. So I've been working my way through 2 after I already beat 1, and then I got 5 coming up next after that. So that rekindled my entire love for that series and going back and playing the entries that I didn't play before.
And that's a tough series to just like fall in love with. And not because there's anything bad with the series, just because there's so much in gameplay for those games. I've seen people sink thousands of hours into one of those games. It's nuts. So to constantly play through those games without getting burned out is a tough thing to do. So
yeah, I'm taking a break. I'm about halfway through 2 right now, so I'm taking a break, playing some other stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to take a break from those games just for at least a little bit, or else you're just gonna hate those games from playing them too much.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
My next one, Tales of Vesperia, that came out on PC and PS4.
Oh, the definitive edition.
Yeah. I did not play this one because it was on Xbox 360 when it originally came out. It was one of the ones that I did miss, and I've been playing through that as well. That was the one I was streaming, and God, was it a lot of fun. I think it's one of those things that I appreciate what some of the other games did after it, based on the way this one plays.
Okay, I can see that. I still haven't played it.
Oh, okay. I mean, to me, my favorite's been Grace's F, the remake for PS3. I really enjoyed that one.
That's been my favorite for combat.
Yeah, it's very smooth in that one. This one's a little bit chunkier. It doesn't feel as responsive as Grace's F did.
Well, because Grace's F came out after.
Correct.
This one came out after Abyss.
Yes, yeah, because it was on. I remember when it came out. I was still working at Best Buy at the time, and it came out in a metal tin. And I was like, "Ooh, I want it," but I didn't have a 360 at the time, so I didn't.
Yeah, I have that collector's edition, but I don't have a 360, so I wasn't able to play it.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those games that I've thoroughly enjoyed, and I think kind of makes you appreciate the storyline, and then be like, okay, I can see how the combat's evolved from the older games to the newer ones, because Tales of Vesperia and Vesperia have been great. I really enjoyed playing those, but I still got a couple more in the list to knock off.
Yeah. All right. So last game for you.
So my last game, that's a toughie.
Did I lose?
I talked about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I still have to say that the SD Gundam game right now has been huge. It reminds me of a little bit of the Gundam game that came out on PS2. That was the RPG build 'em with a little bit of Final Fantasy Tactics.
MS Saga?
Yes.
Oh,
I
that's
love
so
that
good.
game.
That's so good.
Oh, that needs a remake so bad, or a sequel or something.
I don't think it's gonna happen though.
I know. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. That's what I've sunk the most time into probably in the last 3 months. I think I've got about 40 plus hours right now. So it's been the most influential in that respect lately. I just thought about this. But did Xenoblade Chronicles come out this year?
No.
I can't use that one because that one that was awesome.
No, I mean, it doesn't need to be games that came out this year. That's what I said.
Yeah, but I played that when it came out and beat the living snot out of it. So obviously it's been longer. Time flies when you get old.
All right, so Omni.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. What are your 5 games for this year?
Someone's really enthused.
No, I'm here. Hi. I was listening to his games. Honestly,
Because I was doing my transition on my channel from being a mobile game content creator to
I should
being a
I should
variety-
edit this and have you say you were transitioning from a man
Wow.
to.
Wow.
I thought that's where this was going. Like that conversation. I'm like, what? He's
Wow.
transitioning? What?
No. Wow. Wow. You guys are. I
I
know who I'm not
Very
sending
confused,
Christmas presents
like-
this year. But games, top games for me this year. These are more on like the side of just what they meant to me. So first I'm gonna start off, of course. I'm a child at heart. I always will be. I'll always play these games no matter how much people rag on them. Or
Hello Kitty's Island Adventure.
Yeah. Yes. No. Pokemon Sword.
Okay.
I grew up with Pokemon all my life. I grew up with Pokemon when I was 6 years old. I played every game to this date now, and I enjoyed the game a lot. Honestly, the Pokedex 400 only in the game. People can just deal with it. They've given up. People need to realize the catchphrase "Gotta catch 'em all" hasn't been on the freaking game since the second generation. They removed it in Gen 3. Like the point of the game isn't
It's got to catch some of them now.
Yeah,
Gotta
it's
catch-
well, it's also the fact that we're almost to 1,000 Pokemon now in like the national dex. That would be a huge game. Now, mind you, it's doable. There's no excuse for it, but at the same time, like you gotta also think of this. You want to make sure there's room, like the story, which the story for this game was actually really, really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of people bagged on the rival for being like too generic-ish, but his life's fucked up.
But I mean,
like-
the rivals have always been.
Wait!
generic.
Don't
Well, no,
don't spoil
but
it.
here's the thing.
Don't spoil it.
Okay.
I haven't beaten it yet. I'm already on the 8th gen battle.
Well, okay. There's no spoilers to it. You've seen what he's gone through, right?
Not really.
Like,
Okay,
You're-
just
you're-
no spoilers. Just no spoilers. Just in case people haven't.
well, I mean, he's past the point in the game already.
Well, but that just. I mean.
That's okay.
But either way, there's no spoilers in what I'm saying here. It's like, if you go into his house, there's nothing but pictures of his brother. There's zero
Yeah.
pictures of him.
Yeah.
So you're saying, I mean, as far as a rival goes, he's a more relatable character.
Yeah, yes, in a sense.
Okay.
But I like that about him. Like he's got all this pressure on him to succeed. His brother is champion. And like he's going on his the expectation is already there for him to be the next in line in a sense. And he goes through a lot in the story. But like overall the story was fun, the gameplay's fun. I love the wild area. Like that's open world Pokemon. That's what I want. Give me a game like that, just all wild area. Call it a day.
I still want a Pokemon MMO, like a legit one.
Yes. But that's definitely the first game for me by far.
Okay, next game.
Second game to go to it, Borderlands 3.
Okay.
Yeah, the game was kind of short, but I've always been a fan of Borderlands. I love the characters in it. They're always great. They're always sarcastic. The banter between a lot of the characters is always fun to listen to and stuff like that. And honestly, I enjoyed the villains from this one because their whole shtick was they're streamers. Like they live stream everything.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
It's literally they are Twitch streamers. And it's amazing. It's so meta, it's great.
Huh.
But I mean, of course, it's always fun game to play with your friends, and I enjoyed playing every minute with my friend, my coworker. Like we worked our way through the story, we had fun, we got into shenanigans. It was a good time.
Is it true what they
So,
say that it's pretty much just more Borderlands?
It's literally just more Borderlands.
Okay. Which is
Like,
not a bad
literally-
thing. It's not a bad thing at
Like
all.
literally, I'm at the point where if I looked at it this way, it's like, yeah, I understand individual games because they are time skips. Like every game is a time skip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different villains, different stories, different scenarios. But at the same time, it's like this could have just been Borderlands 1 and let's give us a crap ton of DLC that expanded the story. Like grow the story like how Destiny does it. We've had Destiny 2 now for about 3 years.
Right.
And all they do is they just bring out a new DLC that expands the story, expands the world you're in.
Yeah, but I mean that could also lead to companies being greedy, which we've seen with Activision.
Yeah,
Exactly why I'm happy.
it won best ongoing game
Oh, it did. Haha,
Yeah.
good job, Destiny.
award. It won best ongoing game award of the game.
Well, but that wouldn't have happened if they didn't split up with Activision. If that would have stayed Activision, that wouldn't have happened.
Probably not.
So,
But yeah, that's number 2.
okay. Number 3.
Number 3, this is one that I think I streamed twice. Because I don't stream this game very often because I'm freaking awful at the game. But I actually put this game on my list because of my friend who used to live here. He now lives in Florida. He got me into it. And I kind of gained a love for it and just for the esports side of it because I love watching the games, and that's Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I never was a huge Counter-Strike fan when I was younger. I played 1.6 when I was younger, but I never could get into it, and ended up playing Global Offensive with him for basically this entire last year. And honestly, it's a fun first-person shooter because it takes everything you think you know about first-person shooters, thanks to Call of Duty, and throws it out the window with realism. Like, if you shoot and move, your gun's gonna be inaccurate.
Huh.
You have to account for recoil. You have to account for the spread of the bullets because when you recoil, the bullet isn't gonna go where you want it to go. You actually have to like pull down your mouse to like bring the gun back down while you're firing and adjust it for its kick and everything. Like, and it's all about getting headshots. Like, you have to be tactical with it. Headshots are the way you're gonna win that gunfight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, and it's a fun game. I raged at it a lot because it is definitely a range industry. But it was just a fun year because I got to play the game with a friend, and it opened my like I watch the Counter-Strike tournaments every weekend now.
Nice.
They're great. They're fun to watch.
All right, so number 4.
Number 4, and this one goes back to my childhood. And I luckily technically was a little bit sponsored with it at the beginning, and that was Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. I'm not a fighting game fan in any way, shape, or form, nor am I good at fighting games in any way, shape, or form, nor do I have the patience to learn fighting game combos. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid was different, though. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid was still a fighting game, but the thing is, it wasn't solely based on combos as it was based on timing. It was more of a timing fighter than it is a combo based fighter. Now, mind you can still do combos. That's like any fighting game, but they weren't combos that you would see in Marvel vs. Capcom where you have to press 15 different buttons to do one move. Might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but that's what I feel like when I watch people play those games. But I mean, I enjoyed it because it was basically based off the comic book series, Shattered Grid, which was an amazing comic book series. I have every issue of that. And it was just basically that in a video game form, which is what I've always wanted. And I enjoyed playing it. I was awful at it. And but I enjoyed playing it for the sheer fact that it was voice cast very well. And just everything that they did with the series, with that thing, and they're still adding characters and all that stuff, which it was a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, I mean, did they eventually start adding DLC to it? Because I know
so
that was one of your initial complaints with that game.
Yeah, there was only 9 characters to start, which was very low for a fighting game. But they've added, I think, 6 or 9 characters since, and they've actually every DLC adds more to the story. Like, they continued the story every DLC. So it was pretty fun. I still play it from time to time. It's on my Switch. I still play it. So,
all right, number 5.
And I mean, this one was obvious, but Destiny 2. I've been playing it religiously all year long. Shadowkeep came out in September, which was a DLC I enjoyed a lot because it took us back to the moon, which was a place I remember fondly of Destiny 1, because it was the first place you go to after you take care of everything on Earth. And going back there, and just basically the idea was like the idea of the story was great for Shadowkeep because it's like, yeah, you're at the moon, but now there's this force which has been teased throughout the series. That's now there's one of the ships that's been teased buried in the Earth, and it's bringing back spectral like hauntings of enemies you've defeated, and you can't beat them the traditional way. So it was all fun going through like the story of what was going on with that and everything. And all the first season of that was good. We're in the new season now, Season of Dawn, which is expanding the story even more. Getting to see like characters we've only heard in lore. Like there's a character by the name of Saint 14, who's only been in lore. He's known as the greatest Titan of all time, but he's dead. And in this DLC, we're using basically a time machine to bring him back to life because we need him. And it's like they just did in the story they just did the first time when you meet him, and that first time was just like you help him in a battle, and I'm just sitting here like, this is the greatest thing ever. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, but no, Destiny 2 by a long shot. I've enjoyed it all year. It's getting better now that they've kicked Activision to the curb.
Right.
And it generally feels like they're trying. So.
Yeah. Which you can't say a lot of from some other companies.
Exactly.
Bethesda, I'm looking at you.
I knew them out.
What's that?
I knew you were calling them out. They keep ruining it, man. Every freaking announcement after announcement, they just keep making bad moves.
$100 subscription fee.
Yeah.
Fudge. That's fudge.
All right, Ronnie, you're up. Give me your top five.
Right. I don't really have. You guys may not have high expectations of my top five, but like, I mean, I'm not hardcore. I'm not a hardcore gamer, but let's see. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I have been playing, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. That game really, really did it for me. I really loved it. Basically, because I've been a Legend of Zelda fan for a while, ever since like the early 2000s, and then let's see. I mean, just for the fact that Nintendo has a lot of exclusives and they have great games, I had to get it. It was a must-have, and it was fun to play it both on mobile, console, handheld, and on the television. And also, I have a Nintendo Switch Lite, so I would take that game with me to work, and it just made the day seem better. So that's one. Number two, going on what I think it was Zelos or Omnitos was talking about, Pokemon Sword. I've been playing that game just because. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Are the burritos they're coming back up?
The burritos are coming now.
Yeah.
Prepare for the farts.
Sorry about that, man. It starts with the burps. That's phase one. But anyways, as I was saying, I was playing Pokemon, and I'm almost done with the game. I'm just training my Pokemon. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm not ready to go to the league yet. But I've been a fan and a supporter of Pokemon, regardless of the fact that, the whole national dex is not included. I mean, if you look back to any other Pokemon game, you couldn't even capture every Pokemon anyways. But that wasn't really a hurdle for me. It's not so bad. And I can't believe people got really pissed off where they submitted threats to Game Freak and stuff like that. Still, there's no excuse not to include the whole national dex, but that didn't stop me from buying the Pokemon game on a console, like a traditional Pokemon game. So that was really exciting for me. So I got that as well. And again, Call of Duty Mobile, still playing it to this day. I would play it on my downtime. I would even play it at work too. But I never really been into any other kind of Call of Duty. And I noticed that some of my friends have been playing it on the phone. So I kind of figured, what the hell? Let me give it a shot and play it. And I'm actually kind of good at it. I meet some trash players and I meet some good players. But it's a lot of fun. I like Call of Duty Mobile. And it's the first Call of Duty game I've ever really gotten into. I mean, I'm honestly, I've never really been into any major competitive games like shooter or FPS games and fighting games because I'm not exactly. I guess I get too competitive, and I'm not really good, at games in general. I think I'm okay. I mean, if I play constantly, but that's pretty much it. And another game that I'm actually currently playing is Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I got that game earlier this year, but I never got around to finish it because it's so hard. You ever play any Dark Souls games?
Yep.
It's so freaking hard, this game. I keep dying all the time, and I still am. Like I haven't even beaten it. I'm not even close to beating it.
Well, Ronnie, you know how you beat it, right?
What?
You get good.
All
I
right,
know,
Phil.
yeah. Gotta get good. Yeah, Sekiro is one game that I'm playing. I'm actually gonna continue playing after I'm done with this. And that was number 4, right?
That was 3.
Well, no, that was 4 because there's Zelda, Call of Duty
Oh
Mobile,
yeah, and Pokemon.
Pokemon,
Yes, that was number
Sekiro,
4. Yeah, yeah.
and then Sekiro. I don't really have. I mean, I played Kingdom Hearts. That was earlier this year. Kind of left me a little disappointed on
A lot of people said that.
it.
Are
For
you
some, I didn't.
are you
I didn't
excited for
finish.
the DLC?
I don't even know about the DLC.
Oh, you don't know about the DLC. Oh, okay,
No.
so the DLC is continuing the story. They're adding the Final Fantasy characters back in, which they should have had from the beginning. That's all I know about it, to be honest with you.
But I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish the game just because. But like, it's like for some reason I couldn't get hooked on.
What didn't you like about it?
I don't know. Maybe the extensive long cutscenes in this game. There are some load times in menus, and I'm like, what the hell?
Okay, so
I was
then
confused.
what did you like about it?
What do I like about
Yeah,
it?
what do you
the
like about King? Because I mean, I hear a lot of people talking bad about
The
Kingdom Hearts
gra-
3,
the, gr-
so I want to hear
the
some good things.
graphics. It did get great reviews overall, more than generally positive reviews, if anything. But what I like about it are like the graphics, the characters. So the gameplay is pretty good. I actually enjoy it. I just don't know what it is that I just can't get myself into it, man. Honestly, nobody influenced me to like make that decision. It was just me. Like, and I got like the special edition one and everything. It came with like a poster, and a big box set. It's really nice, but I don't know.
My turn, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, okay. So you mentioned Sekiro. That just happened to win Game of the Year. I mean,
Yeah, it threw me off a little bit, but
I-
like I can't agree or disagree.
I don't agree with it. I
Really?
really don't. Yeah, I mean,
You think
it's a good game, but I definitely don't agree with that. There
you
was
think it was like a way to like throw some it's like white knighting for like games aside from like the obvious.
not,
Like the obvious could have been like
there's a lot
any
of
FPS game and what.
there's a lot of politics that goes into Game of the Year awards. But so we're not
Let's give them a chance.
we're not gonna get into that. But I mean, the problem, the thing is that like there's so many better games in that category, and so like that's why I don't feel like it should have won. But anyways, let's get to my top 5. 3 of my top 5 is actually in the Game of the Year category. But there were way too many games. This was actually really hard for me to do because there's way too many games that came out all at the same time. So I'm gonna like give a couple of honorable mentions really quick. Fire Emblem 3 Houses was fantastic.
Oh my god, I heard about it.
Oh, that was such a damn good game. But it doesn't make my top 5. But damn it, was it a good game? Because I never played a Fire Emblem game before. And so 3 Houses was my first time playing it.
What's so good about it though?
The story's freaking amazing. The fact that you can change, like the story changes because of what house you go with. You can recruit pretty much almost every character. The gameplay itself is very okay. So it got criticized by like the hardcore fans of the game, saying that it was a little bit easier than previous entries. But I think that's a good thing because they wanted to get new fans to the series. And for me, the way they handled the game definitely drew me into it. But
Really?
but still not enough for like me to say it's my top 5. I just wanted like honorable mention.
I gotta try this game. It's for the Switch, right?
Yeah, it's for the Switch.
I'm gonna watch some gameplay videos.
Yeah, but I just wanted to put like that was honorable mention. Also, another honorable mention for me, which this is hard to even put it as an honorable mention, but it is an honorable mention. That's Atelier Ryza. And the only reason why it's hard for me to put it as an honorable mention and not top 5 is just because I'm a huge Atelier fan. Like I love the series, and Atelier Ryza is probably my new favorite in the series. But it just has to be like an honorable mention and not top 5. So anyways, getting to my top 5, number 5 for me would be Death Stranding. And
You really liked it?
oh, I
didn't play it
love
yet.
the game. It's fantastic. Like I can see why people don't like it, but the storytelling is amazing in that game, and that's one of the things that Kojima does really well is storytelling. The gameplay when there's combat is fun. When it has the stealth aspect of things, when you get involved with the BTs, it's really intense. Like it's very on edge. Like you're at the edge of your seat while you're in the stealth situations. But I can see where it can be a bit boring for people as far as the package delivering goes. And then
It's Uber simulator.
no, the UPS simulator.
GPS simulator.
Yeah.
Question about Death Stranding. Like, don't spoil it because I do want to get this game. But when you played the game and did you beat it?
No, I
already,
haven't beaten it
by the
yet.
way?
No. I actually put it
Okay, are
aside
you-
for right now because I've been playing so many games all at once. It kind of overwhelmed myself.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I have seen a lot of gameplay footage on this game. Well, like not gameplay footage, but like a lot of trailers. And I'm trying not to watch gameplay footage so I just can save it for myself getting spoiled. Do you you playing this game? Are you understanding the story at all? Because I don't understand what's going on
Yes.
in this game still.
Yes.
Okay, so you understand why things are the way they are and what are
Yes.
these BTs and stuff like. Okay.
Yeah, so it does, like I said, it does a really good job with storytelling. You don't know what the hell anything is at first, but they do a good job with storytelling in the game.
All right.
The music is incredible too. Like
Of course, man. Kojima has to have amazing music in this game.
the soundtrack is fantastic. So that's my number 5. Number 4 for me. This one was a little bit difficult to place just because I had so much fun with this game, and because I'm a huge fan of the series. But Link's Awakening for me is number 4 on my top 5. I loved the game when it came out on the Game Boy. I took it everywhere and I played the living hell out of it. And having it on my Switch was just like a dream come true, and having it remade. And a lot of people didn't like the way that it looked. They thought it was like too cartoonish, too kiddie, looked like claymation.
It's a beautiful aesthetic. That
I
game
loved it. I
it's
loved it.
gorgeous.
The colors were vibrant, everything stood out, and it was just a lot of fun to be able to play through it like all over again. But at the same time, it felt like a brand new experience, because while it was a lot of the stuff was 1-to-1 remake, there was still enough changes that it felt like a different game. And I really enjoyed it. Plus Naomi, my daughter, my oldest daughter, was also playing it, and that made it more enjoyable because then I could share it with her, a game that I loved to play when I was closer to her age. So it was just a lot of fun, like for me to be able to play it again, and then as a parent watch my daughter play it. So that was number 4, and again, like I said, that was kind of hard for me to put at number 4. I wanted it to be higher on the list, but there's just too many games, man. It's just too many games. It's hard. It's yeah. So anyways, number 3 on my list would be Outer Worlds. And again, that game should have been higher up for me, but Outer Worlds was a fantastic experience. Like, especially if you're a Fallout fan, you need to play Outer Worlds. Like New Vegas specifically. If you love New Vegas, you need to play the game. It's the New Vegas sequel that we should have gotten but never did, because it's the same company that makes it. The endings, there's so many different endings and so many different variables that changes the story. You can play the game completely solo without any companions if you really want to, but the companions are just so much fun that it breathes life into the game. And man, when I beat it, I was like, okay, now I need to play it again. And there's not a lot of games that I'll go and like essentially buy twice, but this game, like, I played it on Xbox Game Pass, and then I went and bought it on my PS4. So that just shows like how much I really, really enjoyed the game. All right, so what number am I? Number 2, right? Yeah, number 2. Okay, so number 2. This one was. They're all tough for me to place. Really is. This one just. How can I put this? Okay. With all the games that's released, this one just it's weird for me to even mention it because it's a niche game, and it's Trails of Cold Steel 3. Like, I love my RPGs, and damn it, man, that game is just so rich in story. And one of the things for me is, like, I got burned out in the series a little bit. I haven't even finished playing the game, and that's because, like, I sat down and I played Trails of Cold Steel 1 and Trails of Cold Steel 2, and damn it, I got no one to blame but myself because I'm a procrastinator. Like, both of those games got HD remasters on the PS4 earlier this year, and I decided to wait till, like, the month that the game's getting released for Trails of Cold Steel 3 to then just binge play Cold Steel 1 and 2. And Cold Steel 1 took me 70 hours to play, and Cold Steel 2 took me about 45 hours to play. And those 45 hours I did in about 4 days' time, only sleeping for about 3 hours in between of each playthrough. So I kind of burned myself out by the time I got to Cold Steel 3. But damn it, man, the combat between Trails of Cold Steel 2 and 3 is a huge improvement. The storytelling is fantastic. The voice acting is great. The only downside for me for the voice acting is I wish there was more of it. There's a lot of points where it's like there's voice acting for one character but not voice acting for another character, and it just kind of takes you out of the immersion a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The game is getting a release on the Switch, which is, I'm really hoping they send me a copy of that, which I would then go send to Zelos to do the review, because I already did my review on Trails of Cold Steel 3. So it'd be kind of like redundant for me to do it twice, so to get a different perspective is better. But man, it was a good game. It was really good, and I was really impressed with it. I can't wait for part 4, because part 4 already came out in Japan, so that's the last in the series for that story. So number 1 for me, I mean, if you saw my trailer reaction, you'd know what game it is. Resident Evil 2 Remake is my number 1 game.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I know this was going.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2, honestly, for me, should have won Game of the Year. Like, I was disappointed when I heard that it didn't win Game of the Year. They did what nobody thought could be done with this game. Make it scary. Like, we played people who played Resident Evil 2 originally on the PS1, like, we were scared back then in the 90s, but if you look at the series as it progressed, it became more action oriented and less about horror. Resident Evil 7 brought it back to horror and made us be scared to play a Resident Evil game again. But then when they announced Resident Evil 2 Remake, it was just a completely different monster. Playing through Raccoon City, even just briefly, was amazing. Made me want the Resident Evil 3.
Pun intended. Huh?
What's that?
Completely different monster. Pun intended.
Yeah. So, like, playing through Raccoon City made me want the remake of 3 to happen. And then going into the police station, just the way that they changed the ambience of the police station, it was, oh my god.
Hey, I gotta say though, real quick, did Resident Evil 2 came out earlier this year, correctly?
It came out in February.
Okay, don't you like
February? No, January. It came out in January.
January, okay. So, like, when Resident Evil 2 was announced, I mean, I was pretty excited too, but I haven't gotten the game yet, but I am going to get it so I can play it before 3 comes out. But, like, a lot of people were anticipating Resident Evil 3, right? So, like, is it me or is it, like, did Resident Evil 3 get announced really quickly? Like,
no,
like they were probably working on this like since the release or before the release of 2. They were working on 3 already.
So the way that it happened is they're both on the same engine. It's called the RE engine, which was created for Resident Evil 7. So it's on the same engine, and on top of that, they have already in Resident Evil 2. They already have a lot of the assets that they can use for Resident Evil 3. They have Raccoon City. Raccoon City was already built for Resident Evil 2 Remake. So they just need to expand on that for the remake of 3. Because Part 3 takes place in the city with a little bit of the police station, where Resident Evil 2 takes place a little bit in the city, but most of it's in the police station. So that's why they're able to do it.
FF7 Remake. It's actually preferable for me. Like, I like that.
Yeah, so that's why they're able to do it so quickly. And on top of that, Resident Evil 2 and 3, the original ones on the PS1, were 1 year apart. So they wanted to keep it that way and keep it 1 year apart from each other. So that's why they did it. Now,
Back to back. Yeah.
yeah, so with Resident Evil 2, like the police station, it was just terrifying, man. The game made me afraid of lickers again. It made me afraid of Mr. X again. It made me afraid of zombies, man. Like the zombies were freaking scary. I loved it. I love this game so goddamn much. I played it so many times, both scenarios, both reverse scenarios. I played it trying to get an S rank on normal and hard mode in one sitting. Like I've just like destroyed this game and I still love it. So like I honestly believe it should have been game of the year, but this is my game of the year, like for sure. And when part 3 comes out, I'm sure that's gonna be my game of the year next year. So spoiler for that, I guess. So that was my top 5. I thank you guys for sharing your top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I can't say that I share the excitement for Pokemon that you guys did. I'm retired from Pokemon. Don't do it no more. So anyways, guys, do you guys have anything else to say before we end it here?
I do.
What?
I don't know if you heard this rumor or not.
You're coming out?
This very that's Omni, and I thought we already established that.
Wow.
He's transitioning. That's what he's doing.
There is talks that Blue Point's next remake, HD remake, it could possibly be Legend of Dragoon.
You lie.
No, I'm not.
What?
Who told you this?
Been all over the internet. Where have you been? Under a rock?
I haven't heard any of this.
Legend of what now?
Legend of Dragoon.
Why don't you explain Legend of Dragoon to my cousin really quick?
I don't know what this is.
Oh God! So this was
I suck.
a JRPG that came out after 7, before Final Fantasy 8, or was it between 8 and 9? I don't remember.
Like back in the day, in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I was in high school when this game came out, and this was this game was so fantastic. It was one of the very first games that had a active battle system where you had to hit certain buttons to extend the combos, and it was more of a mature. It wasn't dark or anything like that to most extents, but I don't want to spoil anything in case you want to go back and play it. But after 5 hours, you're like, oh shit, this just took a turn.
Yeah, and guess what? Legend of Dragoon is a Sony exclusive.
Sure is.
Oh.
Yeah, it was owned and developed by Sony's in-house studio. So
I said if this turns out to be true, and it does happen.
now here's the thing though, like would that be a PS4 remake or PS5?
Based on the rumors, it would be a PS5.
Oh, then Sony's gonna really win it this time around again.
Like I said, nothing's been confirmed that they are doing it.
I'm saying if that's the case, imagine that and backwards compatibility.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of exclusivity with PS5 or PlayStation in general, and that's always been their selling point is exclusives, because exclusive sells consoles at the end of the day.
Of course it does. This is a game line.
But yeah, thanks for that. Now you're gonna have me searching the internet to make sure of the validity of that rumor. So, yay.
You're welcome.
I'm not inclined to believe you until I find this.
That's right. It's all over. You can't miss it.
All right. So, anything else? All silence.
All good.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining today. We're going to be doing this again next week. Find some topics, guys. Don't leave it all on my shoulders.
I'm gonna leave it
I
all.
like
on your
Sundays
shoulders.
after 7.
What's that?
Sundays after 7 p.m.
Well, I mean, this is going to go up for probably Mondays, but yeah.
Monday,
Yeah.
I can do Mondays.
No. We will record on Sunday for it to be uploaded Monday.
Oh, yeah, then Sundays.
Yeah. So, guys, keep your calendars open so we can keep doing this. And thank you guys so much. Zelos, Omni. What's the other dude?
Burrito.
You're talking about me, man.
Oh, that's right. My cousin Ronnie.
You can say it. You can say it, dude.
Say what?
What's my name?
You gotta add a bitch to that. It's like, what's my name, bitch?
What's my name, bitch?
Wow.
All right. Well, you'll be able to find all their channels down below in the description. I'm hoping to be able to upload these to like Spotify and stuff like that, but you know that all costs money. So well, we'll see.
I gotta see what your Spotify channel is. Is it Goshen Game?
Do I have a Spotify channel? I don't. What? What do you mean?
Is that like if you upload to Spotify, wouldn't you have a Spotify channel?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it would be Goshen's Games, but I mean, I don't have anything on there right now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm saying like if I would like to, but it costs money to upload to Spotify, doesn't it?
That sucks.
Well, I mean, it's not a free service, and you make money off of it for people who play your music and stuff like that. Like you get royalty payments. Not much, but they're there. Honestly, I don't know how that works. But anyways, thank you guys so much. We're out. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You guys suck at saying bye.
I'll go F yourself.
Hasta la vista, baby.
All right. Now that's just cringy.
My effort for the night. That's my effort for the night there. All right.
All right, everybody F in the chat for Ronnie.